What is the creepiest unexplained event you know of? Many years ago, my mom was working as a mental health nurse at a hospital. She had a patient who was typically nice, and so one-to-one care was fine. One day, my mom took this patient for a wash. The phone rang on the ward. It was my gran. The ward nurse answered the phone and spoke to my gran, who informed her she had to talk to my mom. When the ward nurse questioned why, she answered, "I don't know why I need to talk to her, but I really need to talk to her. Please go and grab her." After a period of back and forth, the nurse gave in and went to fetch my mom to talk to my gran. When she entered the washroom, she observed the patient holding my mom's head under the water. It took 3 members of staff to pull this woman off of mother. If my gran hadn't received the peculiar intuition that she had to speak to mother quickly, my mum probably would have died. Whoa, I don't know whether to call it creepy or not. My mother was crazy with Christmas, Thanksgiving, etc. Always had to be enormous turkey feasts and as much family as possible. She'd start her Christmas shopping in July. She'd grown up in an orphanage with little, so these items were very important to her. She died. One of the few things I stole from her house was a music box, a dancing girl in a glass dome, the wind-up kind. It wouldn't function and hadn't played for years. For some reason, she cherished it nevertheless and kept it on her mantle. It just seemed proper to preserve it. She died in February on the following deck. We were all gathered at the table, eating a turkey supper. My wife made a statement. Mom would have adored this. The music box started playing. You might have heard a pin drop, and I swear my face became white. It ran for approximately 10 seconds and then ceased after a pause. Sitting there staring at each other, my daughter said something like, "Do you believe she's here?" It started playing again and ran for a few seconds before stopping. I tried winding it later, but it wouldn't play. No one, and I mean not one person, believes me when I repeat this tale. When I was a senior in high school, I took a different path coming home one day. It went past a cemetery, and I was simply staring at the gravestones. As I passed past, I swear to God, I noticed a stone with my name in the exact month, day and year of my birth. No date of death appeared on the stone though. Freaked me right the heck out, and I hurried home as fast as I could. About a week later, I mustered my confidence and walked home. That way again. Never could find the gravesite, no matter how many times I went that same path home. I know I didn't dream it. Back in my community college days many years ago, I was studying nursing and took a psychology class with a professor who altered my entire thought process on what degree I wanted. Dr. Marino was an exceptional individual, and the manner he taught transformed my major to psychology. I attended numerous lessons with him and learned so much from him. We would sit before and after class chatting about numerous issues, and he was just generally a good lecturer who enjoyed to teach his pupils. Fast forward several years later, I took a left turn, dropped out from schooling, got married, purchased a house, and had 2 kids. I was living in a calm area until one day I opened my curtains to discover a vehicle idling across the street. It was weird as normally only individuals who lived on my block came down it. I zeroed in on the driver, and it was obviously Dr. Marino! ! He even turned to smile at me and waved. I hurried inside my bedroom to fetch shoes, and as I stepped outside, the automobile drove off. I attempted to wave my hands, but he was gone. I instantly ran inside to attempt to switch to social media to locate him and say, "I just spotted you," and wanted to go after you to say hello instead of finding his profile. I discovered his obituary. He had died a few days before to this occurrence. I know without a single doubt that it was Dr. Marino. I assume he was come to say farewell and push me to get back into school. I ultimately got back in school for social work and will graduate in May. To Dr. Marino, I owe so much. I'd like to believe I'm even making Dad proud. My uncle, my mother's older brother, was brought to the hospital as we had found the peculiar swelling in his stomach was related to cancer. I, my cousin, my uncle's kid, and another uncle of mine used to remain at the hospital from nightfall to morning for 2 weeks. On the 15th day, I occurred to develop a common cold and was advised against coming to the hospital. I remained at my mother's younger sister's house that night while she was living with my uncle's family, as the hospital trips were frequent. It was a regular night. I watched some TV and went to sleep at around 11 p.m. It seemed typical until I woke up with a sensation of unexplainable dread At approximately 2:10 a.m., it was an overpowering emotion, and I instinctively knew my uncle had died away. I hurried outdoors to the balcony to get some fresh air and erase the sensation of dread. It felt like the soft air did nothing except reinforce my suspicion. I instinctively knew my uncle was no more, and tears welled up in my eyes. I started having a chat with the nothingness surrounding me, that there was not a human in sight down on the road. But nevertheless, I knew the breeze, or whatever it was speaking with me. I bid adieu to my uncle, telling him he needed to relax and that he was in a better place. I stood there for around 5 to 7 minutes, chatting, sobbing, and urging my uncle to go well. When I got a call from my cousin, I knew what this would be about. I took up the phone. I still recall the precise phrases. Mama, uncle in my mother tongue is no longer. Inform mummy, my mother, and get everyone home. My cousin subsequently verified that he passed away about 2:00 a.m. and I was the first person he phoned. And he waited about 5-6 minutes to compose himself and contact me. It's been 10 years now. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I recall every tiny sensation I went through. I still wonder how much we don't know about life's secrets. I'm not completely sure I should call it spooky, but it was obviously unexplained and is actually sort of inexplicable. My kid and I live with a flatmate. He owned the house. We paid him rent. Although there was no bond other than friendship between the housemate and I, we were practically a family. I was leaving one day to go to work, and his father was seated at the picnic table on the deck. I said, "How you doing, Mr. Booney?" And he didn't talk, but he did indicate his house with tears in his eye. I got it halfway to the driveway when it occurred to me that he had been deceased about a year. I raced back up the steps and told my flatmate, "Go check on your mom now." Briefly, I told him why, and he went to his mother's. She lived next door, although both houses were on vast lots. A few seconds later, I watched the ambulance back into the driveway and take his mom away. Lights blazing, sirens blasting. My housemates' mom had quite advanced Parkinson's disease. Apparently, somewhere during the night, she had slipped out of bed and was caught between an outside wall and the bed. It was during the winter. It was an older house with virtually little insulation. The external walls were frigid. She had lost control of her bladder at least once and was wet. She was hypothermic and dehydrated. She felt the only reason why she hadn't perished from hypothermia was her dog. The dog crawled beneath the bed. It was a giant dog and snuggled with her. The dog never left. Her explanation? I had none. Save during the time of his father's death. His parents had been married for 60 years. When my flatmate asked me, I recounted what his father had been wearing. I accurately described his preferred shirt and jeans, even down to the black plastic comb in his shirt pocket. It was for what he had been buried in. I had not attended the burial, and although I knew my housemate's parents, I didn't know them well. I don't typically believe in ghost fairies and creatures that go bump in the night. However, this happened 10 years ago, and I still can't come up with a rationale why. My daughter, who got cancer aged 16, when she departed, she used to bang the letterbox hard, stroll off laughing as she knew it would anger me. She died in the early hours of October 12th, 2003, aged 16. 2 weeks after her burial, I was in bed, my boyfriend downstairs, a renter in spare room. A really loud knock sounded on the door. My boyfriend and I both went to answer it. No one there. They got out, glanced up down the road. No one to be seen. It was 2 a.m. I'm positive that was my kid bidding her final goodbye.